All right, let's go. Everybody, hey, you doing? Nice, Silva. Silva. I can't speak. And metal. Yeah, you love losing 2-1. Yeah, right. Maurice said that the second half of a back-to-back had nothing to do with that third period. Only that we got away from the forecheck. If that's the case, then he should have told him. They got away from the forecheck because they were tired. Come on, Maurice. Hold on a second. I gotta crack this window. I had this heat on in here too much. It's putting me to sleep. Okay. Let some of that cool air in here. It's a nice balmy. Oh, it's 23 outside. It's warming up nicely. How you doing, Chopper? All right. So, I got distracted for a second. What are we gonna do? Huh? What are we gonna do? We can't have this. We can't have this thing where we just only score one goal a game. It's too often. It really gets annoying after a while. Seriously. I think it was only the second time we've blown a third period lead this year. I think that was the number. Hi, Alechka. Vincent. Oh, man. Alechka says Panthers are still coasting. If we could have just scored the second goal, made it 2-0, I think we would have been fine. But Chucky missing an open net, they don't help. Don't help. All right, run with Kings. Chopper says I took a look at the teams that may be selling at the deadline. I saw some cool stuff from both Seattle and Chicago. Yeah, I haven't looked at Seattle. I did look at Chicago a few weeks ago. What about Pittsburgh? I mean, Pittsburgh talking fire sale, right? Steven says both Kachuk and Barkov missed open nets. That's $20 million at cap that couldn't do pretty much what Joe could do. Chopper says Seattle players that might be available: Borgstrand, Gord. Yeah, I've heard Yanni Gord, Jaden Schwartz, and Alexiak. Yeah. Gord, I've heard. I know a couple people have been talking about Alexiak. Can Gord still play? Can Gord still play? How old is he? Steven, yeah, we missed a decent chance of gaining on Toronto. No doubt about that. We got to at least get a point out of that game. You go in the third period up a goal, you got to at least get a point out of that game. You know? This is fun fact. We have the same amount of wins as we did last year, just a couple more games played, and they are losses this year. Sounds about right. It's just the competition in the division. Where are we now? I mean, I know we're in second. I know we're in second. Let's see. Where are we? I agree with you, Alechka. I agree with you. So we're still 3 points. Jeez, I'm not even going to bother. Eyes are bad, man. Today they're bad. There we go. Still 3 points behind the Leafs. 6 points ahead of the Lightning. They got 3 games in hand. Senators 52. God, the whole division. I mean, it's crazy. And then the Capitals 69. They're running away with the conference right now. So, yeah. Hi, Andrew. Lil J says, I believe they're saving what's left in the tank and we'll be coasting till the playoffs. Yeah, they just have to win enough games. They just have to win enough games. Actually, looking at January 22nd of last year, right? I guess the biggest difference really is in goals scored, right? and goals allowed, probably. I mean, I think we're averaging almost um, a whole goal a game less than we did last year, right? Right. Yeah, I mean they're pretty much doing the same thing. Chopper Donato also has a $2 million contract. You were saying Ryan Donato would be a good fit at 4C. He's one of the Hops top scorers. $2 million. I mean we can get them to eat that, don't you think? Right? Greg says treading water season. Pretty much, right? I mean, it's a bummer to not get a point, you know. That kind of sucks. I mean, Spencer and I played well enough to get us a point. That's like what, the third game I think he's lost where he's allowed 2 goals. I think that's at least the third game, and he hasn't had that many starts. But I know there was a couple weeks ago where it was like 2 games in a row where we allowed 2 goals. Spencer allowed 2 goals, and we still lost. Steven says, did it seem to anyone else that the slides seem to go along with the Four Nations roster unveiling? I think it's just that time of the year. I think it's just that the dog days right now, I mean, let's face it, we already know this group of guys. They kind of like to have their backs up against the wall. They have proven that when it's time to, be motivated, they can be motivated. But 3 points out of first, second place is 6 points away. There's only so much fire they're going to light under their asses. Hey, Rosado. Yeah, exactly, Craig. Lil J says we need pickups. We need pickups. Our entire defense besides Forsling is a bottom pair, and the players that won the cup look dead. Jesper, Mackey, and Spencer have the most energy. I agree for the most part. I mean, I think Belinskas could be a viable second pair with Mikkola. You're going to win a cup with them. That's the difference, right? Right? Like, we're not talking about if guys can viably play that way. It's can you win a cup with them against the elite competition every night? Hi, Ashley. Rosado's got the hots for you, Ashley. Ashley, Rosado messaged me separately, and he wants to meet you. He's asking me to hook him up with you. So I don't know how that's going to go. He might be a little bit young for you. Steven says, like you said on a recap, needed Mackey to hit that golden chance he had right down the. Yeah, he's got to put the puck in the back of the net. I love him. Hey, True. And I can't complain, right? I'm not complaining about Mackey because he's doing well. But man, he gets so many chances. You'd like to see every once in a while one of those go in. I hope you're right, Lil J. Well, what flavor smoothie though, Silva? What flavor smoothie? I mean, peanut butter chocolate or peanut butter coffee, you might have a deal. Hey, thank you, Frank. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Frank. He says, I noticed I gotta blow this up. My eyes are so bad today. Jesus. I noticed in the Ducks game we weren't too physical, but we looked fast. Maurice is taking everything these guys have. When he's going to realize we can't play that style of hockey all the time? I know. He never. The answer to that question, Frank, is never. That's when he's going to learn. Thank you, brother. Hey, thank you, Dan. Hey, thank you, Danny. Boy, I can't talk today. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Danny. Paul Maurice and Bobrovsky accounts have been retired. Yeah, gotcha. All right, so now we know who Maurice and Bob was. We need a defenseman badly. Forward core is fine. Other than that, they're good. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind upgrade at 4C. Forsling, Ekblad, Mikkola, new guy, Kulikov, Belinskas. That would probably work, right? I would think. I would think that would work. Who was with Kulikov on that bottom pair last year? It would have been was it Montour or OEL? It would have been OEL, right? Because I believe it was Mikula Montour was the second pair. I'm talking late in the playoffs. Hold on a second. Peanut butter chocolate also throwing a third round chicken leg. Barbecue chicken leg. Metal says if a Tampa series starts tomorrow, who wins? Just can't turn it on out of nowhere. I don't know. Tampa's not playing all that well either, though, right? Vincent says, so why do we obsess over bad habits while trying to justify this with some backwards reverse psychology mashup? They look sad. Play the damn game. They just look tired. Vincent, I'm 53. I know what tired looks like. You kids don't know what tired looks like. I know what tired looks like, and they look tired. Vincent said they have a job that half the population would want to do, and they get paid for it. All these bad habits on the ice cannot be brushed under the rug. There's lack of energy, lack of leadership. I'm not going to disagree on some of that. The stupid penalties, and Chucky's just not. Vincent says, who was at Duracell for them? Lomberg? Hockey isn't fun anymore because they won? What is this shit? Oh, Vincent, did you eat breakfast? Thank you, Rosado. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Dana. Ashley. Oh, okay, Grandpa. I am not a grandpa. Fly Guy says, I read a great breakdown on Reddit, Florida, that Panthers that show we're not choosing to block shots. That's a good point. That's actually a pretty good point. Yeah. Kenny says, good afternoon. Matthews' illegal equipment penalty was the funniest of the night. I didn't see it, man. I didn't get a chance. I slept late this morning. It was 2 late nights. I didn't get a chance to watch anything. I'll have to check that out later. See, now JC has a nice, balanced, accurate comment. The team is exhausted. The chemistry is off. Sloppy, lazy plays. That's it. That is perfectly it. Perfectly it. Ashley says, why don't we ask each player what the F their problem is? Let them throw each other under the bus. Yeah, they need a team meeting. They would probably say, what problem? They would probably look at us and say, what problem? We're 3 points out of first place. Steven says the Chucky penalty was because he thinks he's better and faster than he is. He tried to spin away it, and the last guy back and got picked. Yeah, it's just been off. Betch thinks chemistry more than anything. Bunch of new players and line changes. Not enough time to sink and find a match. Barkov, Kachuk, Reinhardt's not working. That's for sure. iDog says they're gassing 2-cup runs and playing more physical than most teams. Most teams don't go to 3 finals back to back. We're lucky we got our cup. Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing we won Game 7. Andrew, why I skip your comments? I didn't see them, buddy. Hold on. I didn't see them. Sometimes the chat skips all the way to the bottom. Hold on, bud. Let me see what. Hold on. Let me get back to it. I see they can play defense and score goals, less passing on the power play. Yeah, I'll agree completely about the power play, man. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt. Right, Ducks are playing better than last year, so are the Sharks. Yeah, the Sharks, good for Nick too, you know. We need another team that's the worst team in the league other than the damn Sharks. And Chucky is Chucky. No doubt, man. And Chucky needs to step it up a little bit. Hi, Amanda. How's my day? hot and cold. I bought a ham and I just had a bunch of ham before I came on, and it must have had too much salt because I'm getting a little woozy. I'm getting a little dizzy. I need to drink my water. I forgot the heater was on in this room and I left it on. It's too hot in here. Danny says, how would life be if we lost game 7? It was not ever going to happen, Danny. I've said it before. I'll say it again. There was no way they were going to take the Cup and Fluffy in the same couple of weeks. There was no way. It was never going to happen. And Fluffy was dying. That was set in stone. So just by universal default, it was just never going to happen. We were never losing that game. I'm scrolling down to the bottom because I can't catch everything. Ham jaws. Salty ham sandwich, yeah. Zano says it's because they spend way too much time at the strip club. That's possible. I think you can say dark humor, yeah. Craig says the gas thing doesn't track. They were just in a game that honored firefighters. As a former firefighter, the Cats are fine. I mean, they're not so gassed that they can't play defense. I think the part that I agree with JC's comment is the lazy plays. The lazy plays. With the exception of Zamiskevich, Boquist, and occasionally Bennett, nobody's really crashing the net. It's just soft, lazy passes to try to set up a guy for an easy shot. There's a lot of work that's just not being done. Kenneth says, Dubas fire sale rumors. Penguins need to go there or just suck for a decade. Yeah, I'm going to. Ashley, you know what? Oh, luckily for me, I already had my midlife crisis in my 40s, so I'm good. Maybe they just don't want the top seed, right? No, I agree, JC. The effort level is just not the same. Frank says apparently Patrick Hornquist gave a pep talk to the team, basically saying going back to work is really hard, and going to 3 straight finals is even harder. We might have to lower expectations. That's true. Adonis says, just saying it's January. Panthers and horror movies always suck. Good point. That's fact. That's true. That's true. Chopper, why can't we pass tape to tape? Man, I don't know. Well, I mean, some of it is, I mean, even the chemistry between Barkov and Kachuk is just not there. And I think it's just because guys are not skating and playing as hard as they need to. You know? Rosado, do I think it could be the pressure on them? No, honestly. I mean, and we've seen Tampa do this the last few years, right? Even though they haven't won the last couple of years. You know, they go through these times in the regular season where they're just kind of sleepwalking. Lil J said Tampa did in 2022 what we're doing right now. They basically walked into the playoffs and then somehow swept us. Right. Chopper says, I never thought I'd see the day where Barkov would be a turnover machine. Dude looks tired. Fly Guy says, Reinhardt mentioned having added pressure because now they are expected to win instead of being the underdogs. That's not a bad point. That's not a bad point. Meadow says, we have all our questions answered in game 1 or round 1. I think game 3. And I say that because I have a feeling we might be down 2-0 by game 3, or at least we will have lost game 2. I think they're going to need an ass whooping for a game in the playoffs before they really, whatever they got left in the tank, start burning it. Andrew, yeah, no, they were back-to-back for Tampa. It's just I don't like to put an asterisk there, but it wasn't 82 games. So the actual amount of hockey that was played was significantly different between the two teams, and then having that break, and let's not pretend like the bubble just was not nearly as intense as normal playoff would be. You know what I mean? Kenneth says Florida flew under the radar for most of the franchise history, so I can buy that. We certainly did. Little J says nobody expects them to make 3 runs in a row, but if they do, I'll be happy. I picked them to repeat. I don't know if I would use the word expect, but I picked them to repeat. So whatever that's worth. No, we were not the underdog in the Edmonton series. That's for sure. Jimmy Butler got suspended for 2 games. He's doing shit on purpose. Fly Guy says everybody wants a fast, right shooting defenseman with good hands. Nobody wants to play Adam Boqvist. You know who's friend? I know, man. I know. He was having, trouble keeping his head together, straight in the game on the bottom pair. So where are you going to, you know what I mean? Do I believe he could develop? Yes. But generally speaking, when you're in cup win a cup now mode, having a guy out there on defense that's just developing is tough. It's tough. I'm scrolling down to the bottom. So if I missed a couple comments, I apologize. Andrew says McDavid got suspended 3 games. Got 3 games suspended for chirping at their opponents. Yeah. Fly Guy says he was trying to earn a spot. I know, man. I know, man. Craig says, kind of shows how epic the Islanders and Oilers run since those back. Right. Of course, it helped with no salary cap back then, right? Somebody said something here. Rosado says that's 3 years in a row where you predict them to win. And I almost got it right both times. I got it right last year. The year before, nobody in their right mind picked that. And we might have beaten Vegas if Chucky hadn't gotten hurt. We might have had enough gas left in the tank. And who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, Fly Guy, he was trying to do too much. Yeah. Unfortunately for him, though, now Bornfoot's come up and shown pretty good. I mean, it says a lot about what the coaching staff, the direction they want to go, that Bornfoot's had that long of an opportunity with Boqvist on the bench. No, yeah, actually, Meadow, that's right. That's right. That's right. I think maybe when we got to the playoffs, I said I must have picked us to win then. But yeah, no, in the beginning, I picked in the preseason, I picked Carolina last year, right? I get confused. They all run together, man. Did I pick us to win the year before? I know the year before I did, the year that we lost to Vegas. But did I pick us to win the year before that? They all run together. I get it, Fly Guy. No, I mean, that bottom pair, Bornfoot's just trying. I think that the difference is Boqvist was trying to do too much. And then, but Bornfoot is playing the role that we carve. He's playing a defensive role a little bit more. Rosado says, Fluffy predicted us to go to the finals, then losing. Okay, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember all of those. Damn it. Now I'm going to start crying again. Greg says Cats need to save energy versus the Sharks and push all their chips in versus Vegas. I know. We almost had them in 22 and 23. I know. Look, this team, this core, Man, I feel like this is going to sound crazy. It's going to sound crazy. But I wouldn't use the word disappointed if they don't win a second cup. But I kind of feel like we should be winning a second cup. Yeah, no, I know, Craig. They bully Belinskas and born for. Well, yes and no. I agree somewhat with that, Craig. But the Bornfoot, at least he stayed. He didn't let his man get between him and Bob, right? Like, there was a battle out in front, but he didn't let his man get between him and Bob, which I thought that was a plus, or excuse me, Spencer. But yeah, we need, against those bigger teams, we're going to need a bigger defenseman. Chopper says, Jaws, am I going to ban you from the channel if I dare say I really don't want Huberdeau back? Were we getting Huberdeau back? Rosado, Bennett for Acharya, second to third, and a prospect. They got to throw in Crosby. Black Guy says it's clear Maurice hates it when players get injured playing the game, although obviously is obviously a physical sport. Not blocking shots means more stress going on to the goalie. I think a lot of that came from the first run when we blocked a lot of shots during the regular season, especially while we were trying to make up the ground and get to the playoffs. I mean, a lot of the bumps and bruises these guys had were from blocking shots. So I definitely think they're saving. If there's anything that they're saving for the playoffs, it's blocking shots. That's for sure. All right, Rosado, what's the decision? Don says giant effect happens if Bennett goes to another team and does better than No, we're not going to be moving Bennett before the playoffs. That's for sure. Little J says, I remember a play last season where Rhino avoided blocking a shot, and that's what we're doing. Yeah, I remember that. Yep. Good memory there. I remember that. Kenneth says Crosby might be upset when he realizes he was gotten as an upgraded 4C. Yeah, but think about how many minutes we could play the fourth line then. Huh? Right? Yeah. No, you put well, I guess if we moved Bennett for Crosby, then Crosby would have to go at 2C, or maybe you put him at 3C. I don't know. No sick for Jack Hughes. I agree with Chopper. Yeah, I agree with Chopper. I mean, I don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do. I didn't know it. If you guys watch this channel, you know that when they hired Dubas, I didn't know what the hell they were doing then. It didn't make sense to me. The investment that they made in the players and in Jari, I said it then. I didn't understand what the hell they were thinking, that they were going to be able to take that aging core and make a run, considering the state of the Eastern Conference at that point. It never made sense. I always thought they were hiring Dubas to do what they apparently are going to do now. I don't know why it took so long. What happened to Jari? I guess he went to the AHL. Nobody picked him up, right? Chopper says Bennett for Crosby and Malkin. All right. I'm down with that. And then we'll flip one of them for Brady Tkachuk, Chopper. How about that? Bennett for Crosby and Malkin, and then we'll flip one of them for Brady Tkachuk. Somehow the salary will have to get worked out. Right? Jari cleared. I figured. Kulikov from Makar. They got to throw in more. They got to give us, we need a first round pick. Right? Hey, Trey. See, I knew talking about Crosby would bring Trey out. I knew it. Trey, we traded Bennett for Crosby and Malkin, and then we're flipping Malkin to Ottawa for Brady Tkachuk. That's what we're doing. Yeah, no doubt, Ashley. I don't know what the hell they're doing. You say Crosby will leave. Lemieux. Talking about the blocking shots, Fly Guy says he just wants his team to have as few injuries as possible when the playoffs come, while the other team is beat the hell and back. Understand the Panthers blocked the second fewest shots in the league. You know, the one other thing they mentioned last night, apparently we've taken the most penalties in the league. Now that shit's got to stop. That can't be. Our penalty kill is not good enough to be doing that. Barkov with a high stick last night. You know, come on, man. Really? Rosado says, Jaws, I'm going to root for the Flames in the playoffs. You want Johnny and Uyghur to win. The Flames got to make the playoffs, Rosado. The Flames got to make the playoffs now. Let's see. Where are the Flames? Let's see. 51. Let's see. 67, 60, 59, 58. Yeah, right now the Flames are the 8th seed. Fighting it out with the Canucks. I guess it could happen. Who would they play? If they finish as the 8th seed, they're likely to either play the Jets or the Knights. They ain't going to get past the Jets or the Knights. Right? Ashley says the top line has been getting into a lot more trouble. Yeah. The Chucky trip last night. It's just like, what are we doing? You know, it's tough. It's tough. Now, really, the question's going to be, the question is this. Let's say we go on another long run and win the cup. Just for argument's sake. Okay? Just for argument's sake, we go on another long run, win the cup. Now we got 2 in a row. We've been to 3 in a row. How many games do we win next year? All right, Andrew. See you, brother. How many games do we win next year if this year we go on another long run and win the cup? Do we win 40 games next year? Do we even take the ice for 40 games next year? Right? I mean, you think this regular season is long. Wait till next year comes, because I don't think motivation to three-peat is going to be all that fantastic. Hey, Michael says, the other night on second Duck Skull, I was talking about the wrong D-man. It was Elvis that turned over the puck because he was being lazy. Bornfoot did the right thing on the 2-on-1. Gotcha. Yeah, Bornfoot. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Dave says, if for some reason the Panthers win the cup, you see some rebuilding. Interesting. And Ashley says they need a nap. Right? No, but seriously, if they win again, like, you think they're coasting now. Chopper says Bennett for Brock Besser is realistic. Guy says, or if they win a second cup, how many new guys would kill to take a deal and be a cat for a third? So, you know, that's Kennedy says if the Panthers win the cup, Leafs take 3 more Panthers. All right, so if the Panthers win the cup, I guess that means you can have Ekblad. You can have Ekblad. That's fine. I don't really want to give you Bennett, but if we won 2 cups, I guess you're going to take Ekblad, you're going to take Bennett, and let's see. Barnfoot, yeah, or Boquist. Nosek, yeah, I like Craig's idea. Nosek, yeah, that's a good one. Leafs want Chucky. Leafs ain't getting Chucky. You can have Bennett. If we win the cup again, you guys can have Ekblad and Bennett. Just think of what we can spend that money on, Panther fans, right? A whole retool. right? Chopper says the Leafs can take all the Panthers players and still go out in round one. Yeah. iDog says you can have Adam Boqvist, Ekblad, and Drieger. There you go. Yeah, you want another one of our backup goalies, right? Yeah. You need a defenseman, a backup goalie. Yeah. Yeah, Drieger. Poor Drieger. No offense to Drieger, but let's hope the situation does not arise that we need him this year, right? Let's just hope that because that would not be a pleasant situation if we did. Michael says, why do you hate Nosek when he's 100%? He's just as good as Stenlin? No, man. Maybe 5 years ago. Maybe 5 years ago. His face-off percentage is what we're bitching about, Michael. His face-off percentage. We got him for 53, 54% face-offs. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. She says they definitely are not trying. The hits are really lazy and not efficient. And maybe they know how it feels to walk on one leg. You don't want that again. Right? Yeah. I think Mackey took a shot last night, blocked the shot, and I guess was skating off in pain. Can't have that. Thank you again, Amanda. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Craig says many more times the steamrolling goalie and Driegs may be needed. Can somebody explain to me why they were even having a discussion of whether or not that would have been a goal when the dude slid into Spencer Knight, literally pushed his skates, pushed his pads, with his skates and the puck into the net? Was I the only one sitting there watching that, wondering why they were even having that discussion? Thank you, Craig. I mean, they're talking about how close it was. And I'm like, he literally drags Knight into the net. Do I not know the sport? What am I missing? Paul says, oh, yeah, don't you know Panthers get all the calls? It was a garbage decision. Paul says first line sucks. Should be Rodriguez, Barkov, Reinhart. No. Barkov, Reinhart. Well, you see, I would like to put Boqvist there. The problem is where you're going to put Chucky. Chucky's the issue. I don't want to move Chucky down because I don't want to move Sam Miskevich off. I like the second line. Although I'd like the second line to be Bennett, Verhaeghe, Sam Miskevich. That's really what it should be. Chopper says something tells me we're going to win the game against San Jose and lose against Vegas. That's probably accurate. That sounds about right. That's too many centers, though, Michael. Rosado says, I just want Cookie at 4C. I agree. Yeah, the fourth line. Now, wait a minute. Greer is good. If it was Stenlin with Greer and Lomberg, we'd be in good shape, Paul. Right? Greer fits. Ashley says we're going to lose both. Kenneth, you almost made me spit my water all over the place. He says, wait until Kansas City gets a hockey team. The NFL Russ will take the ice. Right? Michael says the Lightning forwards are all listed as centers except 3 of them. Yeah, but except then who's going to be at 2C in that lineup, Michael? That's what I mean. What are you going to go? You see what I'm saying? Who's going to be at 2C? If you move Lundell, okay, then who's at 3C? Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. She says, I effing hate Greer and Nosek. Get me Lomberg. I know. Mahomes, 2-sport king. Nosek. Now, Michael, come on now. I know you're not kidding. I know you're kidding now, right? Those that get 2 seed. Chopper says Lundell, Samiskevich for Hagee. That's probably coming at some point. That'd be if we lose Bennett, that's next year's second line, Chopper. If we lose Bennett, that is next year's second line. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I don't give the Leafs Mackey for Nyes. No. I don't worry, Dave. I would never approve that deal. I would never approve that deal. You watching, Bill? No. Achari Rodriguez Greer. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Michael. Luosterainen is good at center. I mean, Luosterainen could be 4C. Luosterainen would be the upgrade at 4C. Now that's, let's look at that conversation a different way. Let's look at that conversation a different way. I want an upgrade at 4C, right? So if we move Luosterainen to 4C, Barkov, Reinhart, Kachuk, Bennett, Boqvist, Samiskevich, Bennett for Hagee, Samiskevich, Lundell, Rodriguez, Boqvist, Luosterainen, Greer, and pick up a extra winger for the fourth line. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. She says, so talk to me. Are we having discussions of trading Bennett during the trade deadline? Because I have a feeling we will lose him in free agents. Jen, move the babies around with the big dogs. Right. Well, Amanda, I'm going to be honest, man, his body language concerns me. And I know some people think he's just chill, and that's fine. That's fine. But with that slump that he went through, let's just be honest. He's not contributing what we need from him as Sam Bennett on that line. Now, if the team knows that Bennett's cooked, they may not want to sign him long-term, and they may want to get assets for him. I don't think it's going to happen, and obviously I don't know the intricacies of it all. But if for some reason we were able to acquire a guy that the team liked at center, I'm not 100% convinced that he's untouchable. Not saying I want to do it. I'm not saying I don't understand the implications of what would happen if we did it, but I wouldn't be totally shocked if something happened, but it depends on what Bennett would draw in return. All right, Dave. Appreciate. Yeah, only one more day. I know, right? Right? Michael says Bennett for Hagee lead the team in shots on goal nightly. They're just missing a lot. Yeah, I mean, Bennett's not really there so much for his goals. I'm not really concerned about his goal production. It's the digging in the corner and being a nuisance. And if they are just holding it back for the playoffs, he's going to stay. If Zito and Maurice get together and they think that somehow Bennett is, I don't want to say washed or cooked, but if they decide that they're definitely moving on from him, they may consider at least taking phone calls to see what they could get in response. I know Bennett was kicking ass to start this season. I thought he was going to have a massive year because of the contract year. Fly guy, exactly. His physicality isn't there, and he's trying to dangle. Exactly. Yeah. Michael says maybe he decided it was too expensive to pay for a pet adoption per goal. Right? Right? Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah. Look, I don't want to trade Sam Bennett. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that Zito has we've talked about this a lot, right? He's got all these decisions to make. And to quote Trey, if the Panthers know they're going to walk on from Bennett, if they did, and Pittsburgh said, hey, we'll give you Crosby for Bennett because we think we could sign him, and we'll eat Crosby's salary. Although he signed a deal, though, right? Crosby signed a deal. He doesn't just have 1 year left. How the hell are they going to move him without eating salary? What am I talking about? Trey, why do you keep talking about trading for Crosby? What do you got me talking about now? Fly Guy says, now that he sees they're far apart in negotiations, he's trying to not get injured. That could also be too. Chopper says, Barkov is tired. Let's put him on LTIR and give him a 1 month trip to Cancun. Yeah, you could tell. You could tell. Michael says he was on a crazy game goal streak. In an interview about paying for the pet adoptions, he looked like he forgot and has scored almost no goals since. I know. That's funny. Kenny says, if 3 years from now, Zetterlund, Celebrini, and Will Smith are going to be one of the best lines in the league. Yeah. And that's my concern, what Ashley said. That's my concern. Maybe Bennett already knows he's getting traded, so why try? I don't know. They all look pretty emotionally spent. We'll see what they have left come April, right? Thank you, Craig. We'll see what they have left come April. Who else thought Chucky scored last night? When he missed that open net and he raised his stick like that, I screamed. I thought he scored. And then when you see the replay, you realize he was just frustrated. He had a wide open net. I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like, we're sitting here talking about, this complaint, that complaint, and all of that. But if Chucky hits the wide open net, I mean, we produced the play that had a wide open net. If Chucky hits that, like I said last night, maybe we win the shootout. And then we're talking about, hey, we look good. We won 3 in a row. We beat the Kings at home. It's very, very small things, small differences. So it's just different, right? This is different for all of us because in all of the years past, we're so used to the most part, right? Except for kind of last year. The regular season, for the most part, as Panther fans, has been, oh my God, can we make the playoffs, right? Like, pretty much every season, if we ever thought maybe we could make the playoffs, we were all tooth and nail, every game, every shift. Can we make it? Can we do it? Can we do it? And now it's not like that, right? Now it's not like that. And so it just feels different to us watching the games, I mean, in a couple of years, we went from, oh my God, can we make the playoffs to, is it April yet? It's and hopefully we don't go back to the other way. Ashley says it's rigged. Chucky's been missing those a lot lately. It's true. Michael says, you want to talk about body language? The whole Sharks team looks depressed. It's tough being, those seasons, they got to get long, right? You start talking about playing in game 50, game 60, you're not making the playoffs. It's another shitty year. Who wants to block shots then? Who wants to block shots at that point? So, look, we'll be all right. Kings are a good team, is what it is. And Spencer Knight, let's not forget, okay? I kind of got pissed because I thought I was going to get to talk about 2 straight shutouts. That's really what irritated me is I thought we were going to get to talk about 2 straight shutouts for him. Ethan says Chucky hasn't been 100% himself since the Colasar because the Colasar hit him. That's true. Yeah. There's nowhere. Now, how much of that is loss of ability versus loss of willingness / desire, right? And just remember, he used to skate around hitting everybody, you know, and last year, remember, it was about halfway through the season, and he hit somebody with that shoulder, and then, went to the bench hanging that shoulder low. And after that, the only hits we've seen him lay is hitting with his ass, hitting with his hips. Completely different player. Now, that part I can understand, but he's never gone back to really fighting around the net and scoring those goals the way he did. And it just makes you wonder what, you say, okay, he broke his sternum. Well, the sternum there's a lot of places that could actually mean. Like, where exactly was the break? What was the physical therapy actually like? I've talked about scar tissue before. That's one thing I know a lot about as a massage therapist for athletes. I've done it in the past. And an athlete's range of motion can absolutely be significantly be affected. I worked on dancers who would have hip surgery, and then I helped with their rehab. And the difference in what they could do before and after getting the deep work, it would be like two completely different people. And I mean, obviously, Panthers have a good team and everything like that, but it just makes me wonder what actually went on. Broken sternum, okay, but did he tear muscles? Did he tear the intercostal muscles? Because if you tear the intercostal muscles, that scar tissue is painful to try to get rid of. Painful as hell. It's nasty to want to do it. You start getting up into the upper ribs and the floating ribs behind. And not everyone wants to do it. I'm sure he could tolerate the pain, but if he tore intercostal muscles, that's something that could easily take 2 to 3 years to really get right because of the physical therapy involved. Frank says, everyone is saying after the Four Nations we might look better. I don't think so. It's way more hockey we got to play. We're after. I hope you're wrong, Frank, but I wouldn't be surprised if you weren't. Ethan says, it makes me worried that it's a lingering injury and hasn't 100% deal to the volume of games he's played and continuously trying to not re-injure it. Yeah. I mean, or it simply just could be, a protective thing, right? It's a bad analogy, but I used to boogie board all the time, and I would land really, really hard sometimes. And because of that, I ripped a little bit of the intercostal muscle. And so my floating rib, if I land like that anymore, it stabs me. It literally stabs me. So I can't do it anymore. But I have the physical ability to do everything that I could do before. But when I feel that pain, when I feel that floating rib stab me, it's nasty. So it could simply be something where he's got some issues going on in there that cause pain when he takes a hit. You know what I mean? Oh, Ashley, go fix a car. Smart ass. iDog says, that's why I won't be completely pissed if we have an early exit. They need the rest and we can keep making legit runs for the next few years. As long as we don't lose to the Bruins, Lightnings, or Leaf. I don't think we're going to have a chance to lose to the Bruins. I don't think they're going to make it. Right? Ashley. I don't think the Bruins are going to make it. I'm not convinced. I mean, they're not in right now. I mean, they're only 1 point out. It's going to be crazy, this 8 seed. This fight for the 8 seed is just going to be absurd, man. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams. 9 teams within 5, 6 points. 9 teams within 6 points of the 8 seed. And that's just from the 8 seed down. That's just from the 8 seed down. There's 9 teams within 6 points. Oh, okay, Ashley. All right. All right. I thought you were finding my medical dissertation boring. Like, hey, it's sports related. It's something I actually know about. You're still a smartass. Ethan says, knock on wood, but could you see us dropping to a wild card spot? I don't think so. I think they'll stay motivated enough to stay in second place. I know Tampa has some games in hand on us, but this team has consistently reacted pretty well when their backs are up against the wall. And I don't think they'll let themselves. It's possible we could end up with third, but I don't think they'll allow themselves to fall further than that, right? Ken says you have some up-and-coming teams battling twilight year teams at that 8 seed. Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be a monstrosity, man. Now, in the preseason, I picked Ottawa to make it. I don't think anybody picked the Canadiens, right? And, the Jackets are right there. The Rangers are right there. The Flyers are right there. I know the Penguins will want to sell, right? But they're still only a few points out. Only team really not within striking distance of the Sabres, pretty much the Islanders. They had a spot for a while, but they're kind of out now. Frank says Vegas is going to win the Cup. They could. I hope you're wrong, though. Greg says that this late in the season to have an ultra-competitive slog for the last 2 spots definitely will make things tight. And it'll make those games that the Panthers have to play a little tougher, too. Watch Vegas add JT Miller. They add every year, right? They add every year. Ashley thinks Winnipeg. Don't leave Edmonton out of the mix. Don't leave Edmonton out of the mix. I'm just saying. Edmonton lost to a team in the finals who had lost the year before and made winning it again the next year their motivation. So I would not put it past. McDavid is pissed for a reason, right? Kenneth says if Vegas wins next year, if Jaws predicts Panthers, I'll bet Vegas. I had to pick them. There was at the beginning of this season. The reason why I picked them was not so much that I looked at the team and thought absolutely guaranteed we're going to win. I looked at the team and I couldn't see any reason why not to pick them. I couldn't see any reason not to pick them. So that's why I picked them. It is what it is. Ethan says people are forgetting how good Dallas was. Lots of people were saying they were the favorite going into things. That's true. That's true. And look, it's all gonna come down to goaltending too, right? If any of these teams get that hot goalie, it's going to be all over but the shouting, right? Which is kind of why I don't see somebody like Calgary. I still feel like Vancouver is going to at least get that spot over Calgary. And the Avalanche too, right? Don't leave out the Avalanche. There's a lot of good teams. It's a lot of good teams, and they'd all like to be the one to knock us off. So, all right, everybody, that's going to do it. I am tired. Those 2 late games in a row, but we did it. I'll leave this one. Lance Fruit says Barkov Kentucky need to score more. They will need to turn it up ASAP. I'm hearing Cats are interested in a D-man and a forward, JT Miller, Ryan Donato, or interest to forward from what I was told. That's interesting. I don't know what we're gonna. No, Sam Miscavige. We better not. Cannot. Maurice likes Sam Miscavige. Maurice likes Sam Miscavige. He talks about him in the interviews, so I think he's safe. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think Maurice likes that kid, so we're in good shape there. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm wiped. I'm not even gonna lie. Thank you, Lance. Appreciate that. All right. Much appreciation there. Definitely appreciate that. That's good news. All right. I'm going to bed. I'm done. It's been 2 late nights and I am wiped out. I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, thank you, Amanda. I'm going to try to make those QR codes bigger. I tried quickly before the stream. It didn't work out. So I got to get with Nick and see how we can make those a little bit bigger. Maybe get them to where they're, a quarter of the screen. So we'll work it out. All right. Good night. Good morning. I'll have something out tomorrow. I got something good coming tomorrow. We'll see you.